You finally get home. Done. Cooked. You sit down, pull out your phone, and scroll for 2 hours straight before you even notice the time moving. You don't even enjoy most of it. And then, when you finally put the phone down and get into bed, you're somehow more tired than when you sat down. How is that possible? You just rested, didn't you? Let me walk you through what this actually sounds like in my head. I mean, not the polished version, the real one. Okay, I'm exhausted. I deserve a break. Let me just check Instagram for a minute. Oh, that's interesting. Wait, who posted that? One more scroll. Actually, let me check Twitter too. Ooh, a thread about something I don't even care about, but I'm reading anyway. Now YouTube. Just one video. Autoplay caught me. Why do I feel like I did cardio on the couch? And the weird part? I know it's not working. Every time I scroll for an hour, I feel worse. But I keep doing it because, honestly, what else am I supposed to do? Stare at a wall? That feels like punishment. At least scrolling feels like something.
And if part of you is already thinking, okay, but scrolling is the only thing I have energy for, that makes sense. And it's the exact doorway into the trap. I know that scroll. Last Sunday I did 3 hours of it. Reddit, YouTube, news rabbit hole. I got into bed feeling like I'd worked a full shift, and here's what I noticed afterward. The gauge I could feel, effort, was telling me I rested. But another gauge, the one I couldn't feel, was telling a completely different story. There's a 5-minute fix, but it feels strangely hard for the same reason scrolling feels strangely restful. Scrolling gives your body the signal of rest, but 5 quiet minutes gives your brain the conditions for recovery. And if I hand you that fix too early, your brain will file it under, nice idea, won't do it. You have to see the illusion first. Clue 1. Let's chase the obvious explanation first.
I'm just sleep deprived. Get more sleep? Problem solved.
Picture last Saturday. You slept in 8, maybe 9 hours. Then you scrolled in bed. By 11 a.m., did you feel bright?
No. Honestly, I felt heavier than when I went to sleep. More sleep on a scrolling morning made it worse. That doesn't make sense.
That's the contradiction. Sleep refills one gauge. Scrolling drains another. They're not the same gauge. The second clue is stranger. Notice the heaviness right now. Maybe behind your eyes, across the forehead, maybe in your jaw. That feeling that arrives sometime during this video without you reaching for it? That's not random. That's part of the pattern. Hold on to where you feel it.
Then maybe it's just work. Modern overwork. My job is exhausting. Scrolling is just my brain crashing from that. So the exhaustion isn't from the rest. It's the work week finally catching up. The scroll is just how I survive.
That's the closer guess. Work week exhaustion is real, and your job may genuinely be draining you. The scroll is how a lot of people survive their week, so I want you to take this seriously. But picture last Saturday again. No deadlines, no emails, no work. You scrolled for 3 hours that morning. By noon, how did your body feel?
Wrecked. Same wrecked feeling. On a Saturday, with zero workload. So if it's burnout, why does the same exhaustion show up on a day with nothing to burn out from?
Right. The pattern shows up on work days and weekends, on stressful weeks and vacation. So whatever's draining you isn't only your job. Something else is running in the background, and it runs whether you're working or not. Before we go further, let me say what this video is not claiming. It isn't telling you phones are evil. It isn't another piece of content telling you to do a dopamine detox. And it isn't just go meditate. Those framings either blame you or hand you a chore. We're after something more useful. Sleep explains why you started tired. Burnout explains why you needed escape, but neither explains why the escape itself left a receipt. The third clue is the one most people miss, and it changes what rest actually means. Your brain has a quiet mode network. You can picture it as a maintenance crew that comes online when the building is finally empty of demands. While it's running, it helps consolidate memories, process the day's experiences, and connect things you didn't realize were linked. Researchers call this the default mode network. One thing we know about it, it doesn't run well while your brain is busy processing new outside input. It needs the input to stop. But the maintenance crew only comes out when the building is quiet. The moment you start scrolling. Watch what happens when we turn the dashboard around. That's the gauge you couldn't feel. It's been draining the whole time you thought you were resting. Every meme, every headline, every 30-second video is like a new tenant walking in. Switching between hundreds of pieces of content can leave behind what researchers call attention residue. And the residue accumulates whether the input feels like work or not.
But scrolling doesn't feel like work. I mean, how can something that feels so passive be demanding?
That's the exact illusion. You feel the front gauge, effort, drop. You don't feel the back gauge, energy, draining. The first signal of recovery is effort stops. Scrolling delivers that signal perfectly. But the actual product of recovery is energy returns. Scrolling doesn't deliver that. That gap between the gauge that drops and the gauge that drains has a name. We call it the recovery counterfeit. The phone is not the villain. The villain is the disguise. It looks like rest because your body stopped moving, but your attention never clocked out. Once you see the gap, you start spotting it in places that used to look harmless.
Watching Netflix as your self-care Sunday. 4 episodes in, you feel like you've been run over. I mean, your body was horizontal. So why do you feel so flattened? Lying in bed for an extra hour on Saturday, but scrolling the entire time. That hour wasn't rest. It was consumption, just in the dark. And the worst one. Telling yourself you'll go to bed early. Opening your phone just for a minute at 9 p.m. Looking up, and it's midnight. The rest you planned got swapped for the gray zone. I'm not on. I'm not off. I'm just gray.
Same pattern every time. Effort stopped. Energy kept draining. The recovery counterfeit. You're paying for rest with a currency that only buys tomorrow's exhaustion. Some psychologists call the late-night version revenge bedtime procrastination. That names the behavior. The recovery counterfeit explains why it can feel so hard to stop. Before you turn this on yourself, hold on. This pattern isn't new. People have always numbed out after a long day. What's new is that the off-ramps disappeared. TV schedules used to end. Infinite scroll doesn't. Your brain isn't broken. It's living in an environment redesigned to never let it stop.
So I'm not bad at resting. I'm not lazy. I'm not broken. I've been counterfeiting my own recovery, doing something that mimics rest so closely that even I couldn't tell the difference.
That's the recovery counterfeit. Like a counterfeit bill. Looks real until you try to spend it the next morning.
And the heaviness behind my eyes, the one I felt earlier, that was the receipt.
That's the receipt. Done, but not refreshed. Once you know it, you can't unfeel it. The recovery counterfeit has a physical signature, a real one. Behind the eyes, across the forehead, in the jaw, a dull, wired but tired heaviness. Your body wants stillness, but your hands stay restless. You're depleted but not calm. Genuine recovery feels different. The weight behind the eyes is soft, not sharp. The hands go still on their own. The mind drifts without grasping. Right now. Don't change anything, just notice. Your jaw. Is it holding or relaxed? Behind your eyes. Heavy or clear? Now, think of your last evening off. Did you feel refreshed afterward, or just done? If the answer is done, but not refreshed, you just felt the gap. That gap is the signature. Once you can feel it, you have a detector. Here's what I want you to see before the experiment. Real recovery isn't always beautiful. Sometimes it looks boring. Sometimes it looks like nothing's happening. That is the point. The experiment is 5 minutes of the right-side version before the first scroll tonight. That's it.
5 minutes of nothing? That sounds awful.
I know. And that awful feeling is the maintenance crew trying to come out. The first wave is the strongest. Your brain expecting the content hit and registering its absence. If you can ride that first wave, the next one is softer. Last Tuesday, I made it 3 minutes before reaching for my phone. 3 minutes. And those 3 minutes felt different from any amount of scrolling. I'm still on the trail. You're not failing at rest. You've been spending counterfeit recovery. And now you know what real rest costs.